All right, what's up, guys? We're back. Huddle Up Podcast number 20. Got Hayden with me, of course. We're going through. We got a lot to talk about, man. Of course, the football, the classic. But we just finished the baseball wild card as well, so we got to hit on a couple things there. I'm back to being locked on baseball, so feels good. Feels good to be back. And then a little college football, just because we got some Penn State James Franklin chokes to talk about. So, we're hitting on all cylinders today. But let's start with NFL, of course. You've got a lot to talk about, but we'll that'll be, I'm sure, over under on your Rams rant is probably 7 minutes solo.
Yeah, I'm taking the over.
um, but we'll start with the positive. We posted our picks on IG before the game Sunday, and I went 10-5. Hayden went 8-7, both above 500, which is huge. Any surprises there for you that were like any games that you just got wrong, completely saw it wrong, whatever?
I mean, the Vikings game was relatively close. I definitely thought they were gonna win it. I didn't wake up early enough to watch that game at 6:30 on the West Coast, but I thought that they were better equipped offensively with Wentz currently than McCarthy. I think. I mean, I didn't really watch much of the game. I just know that Minnesota did not do enough, and I don't know how the Steelers scored that many points on the Vikings. I thought the Vikings defense was a little bit better than that. Did DK
Yeah, I
have
mean,
like
I
a
think that's
crazy
where
catch?
that's where
Did,
I got it wrong. I mean, I don't think anything surprised me about the Vikings offensively. It was really like the Steelers offense Vikings defense matchup that really threw me for a loop. I mean, Rodgers kind of it wasn't like a crazy game. Like I think he threw for 200 yards like on the dot and two tutties, which isn't crazy, but like I thought that was going to be a zero touchdown, maybe one with like two picks, you know?
yeah, I don't know. I just that one was the weirdest one to me, just because the Steelers are just so like just painfully mid. It surprises me when they win games like that because I thought the Vikings would at least put up. I thought the Vikings were going to win outright, but
Yeah, oh, I did too.
I just that one was just kind of weird. I don't know. It's a quarter into the season and you're still trying to figure things out, but that one's definitely a head scratcher
Yeah,
for the Vikings.
I agree. That was probably, I'm going looking at the list again. That was probably number one. I think the other obvious one, which we can talk about this game a little more too, was the Chiefs Ravens game.
Yeah,
This one really hurt me as like the Chiefs guy for years. I know we talked about it, but like not that I'm a Chiefs fan, obviously I'm not, but like in terms of picking like winners in betting and whatnot and Super Bowl futures, like I've just been the Chiefs guy since Mahomes has gotten there. And to just see him click again and hitting Worthy and like just dicing up the Ravens like they always do, essentially, just like and boxing Lamar too. Like they just always find a way to do it. And I just thought this time would be different for some reason. I don't know.
yeah.
It just was kind of painful. But I don't know what's gonna happen with them, man. I don't know what the Ravens are gonna do. Like, I do have a surprising pick for this weekend, which we'll get into later, but uh, the Ravens are gonna be um, it's just a tough road. Like I know they have an easier back half of the schedule, and the division right now seems to be pretty gettable without Burrow, but like still, it's a big road up. Starting at what? What are they right now? 1-3? Is that right?
Yeah, 1-3. Yeah. I mean, if you had told anybody, I think, that watches football that the Ravens were going to start 1-3, they'd laugh in your face. But now we're here, and it's just kind of it is crazy. I heard a crazy stat on the radio yesterday when I was driving up to the Rams game, and the Rams on first and second down run the ball the second to least amount in the NFL. Guess which team is first?
Ravens?
The Ravens. So you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and you're running the least amount possible on first and second down. So I find that to be bewildering. I thought the OC's name slips my mind. I had been praising him.
Munkin? Is that right?
Munkin, yeah, I had been praising him. He's a moron. And the one thing too that I mean, we can start going into the whole like the whole excuses for Lamar, like Lamar's a choker thing, but
Yeah.
realistically, in the I think 7 years he's been there, and the six that he's started or whatever, like the best wide receiver that he's had to play with is Zay Flowers. Like I genuinely don't know. I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, Hollywood Brown was pretty good for a bit there.
right, but like
Obviously,
even then,
I'm not saying he's like,
yeah,
anything crazy, but I mean, he was solid there in Baltimore for a bit.
and like I mean, I guess thinking about it, like you can say the same thing for Mahomes. Like Mahomes really hasn't had anybody, but since Tyreek, that would be like the main one, and he's obviously had Kelsey, and Lamar's
Yeah.
had Mark Andrews, but
Correct. Yeah.
Mark Andrews isn't really Travis Kelsey, nor is Hollywood Tyreek Hill. Like it's just crazy to me that they haven't invested in a receiver this whole time. Like if they want to make Lamar like this like pass heavy player, and you're not going to invest in wide receivers, like there's only so much Lamar can do. I mean, I'm not going to keep making excuses for Lamar because at the end of the day, he's got to perform, and he didn't look very good in the time that he played the Chiefs game. But I mean, obviously having Derrick Henry top five running back in the league, that should help. But I mean, they got
I
DeAndre
mean,
Hopkins.
I can't figure it out because it's like if they're well, things should look very different. If let's start with this. If they hold on to that lead in the Bills game that we watched together, like
Yeah,
they'd be 2-2 and be okay. Like
and
people
then
wouldn't be
even
freaking
then,
out
the
2-2.
Lions game was winnable for them too.
Yeah. I think Lamar, I don't know what it is, especially against the Chiefs, he really like tenses up. It's you can't deny it at this point. I backed him obviously this season. I thought it would be different, and I still think he can turn it around. He's clearly like very talented, but like the stats don't lie. He really only throws picks against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Like the Chiefs and like the Bills too, I guess, in the playoff game last year, but that's really it. Like those are the two teams. It's like he'll play perfect against everyone else. Um, I also think I was gonna say one other thing too. I can't remember now. I mean, they've had terrible injury luck too. Like
yeah.
that
Roquan,
seems to be
Marlon,
a big
Humphrey.
thing in the NFL right now. Um, just everyone's hurt, but yeah, I don't. That was anyway. That was a surprise to me. Obviously, we both got that wrong. A little painful to see, but um, let's talk about your Rams. We had Thursday night football yesterday. Let me turn that off. Sorry. Thursday night football last night. The one I'm on D&D, and the one guy that can um, get my notifications is Charlie, and he texted me. That's why. Um, Rams Niners last night. It was a big spot for the Rams. Obviously, they had all the advantages. Could seem to get it done. Mac Jones looked like vintage Pro Bowl Mac Jones, and was like dying on the field. Somehow got a win. 26-23 in OT. I believe that's right. Yeah, you had a lot to say, so the floor is yours.
Well, I'm actually curious what you think. Just before I say anything, I'm curious what your thoughts are because I I definitely have
Everyone,
a feel.
yeah, I have a rule on when, like, especially, I made this rule after year one of watching Oregon with Dan Lanning, because he's kind of the Dan Campbell esque, a little bit of college football. Like, he's just not afraid to go for it. And I had to just make my rule of, like, okay, no matter what happens, do I agree with the call to go for it, right? And as soon as the Rams lined up to go for it on that 4th and 1, I was like, I'm with it no matter what, 100%. And then Niners called a timeout. And then, they go back to the line, try and hard count to get him to jump. That's fine. Rams call a timeout. At that point, momentum's kind of lost from the drive because they were just Rams were slinging it everywhere. Like Tutu had the deep bomb. I think Puka caught one early in the drive. Like they were moving, complete rhythm. Like that was a part of my reason to go for it. I was like, yeah, I mean they're all momentum's on their side. But after the two timeouts, I still agreed with the call, but I'm also like a little more hesitant than I was. Like at some point, maybe you just take the three, you trust the defense. Mac Jones is barely alive. Like you can get the ball back. Um, and the fact that we talked about it a little bit, they called the run play. Like it's 4th and 1. I'm with the call to a degree, but I mean, I don't know. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. You think you can get the yard. Hindsight 2020 is always going to win. Um, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I think you have Puka. Remember the play that Puka scored on? It was kind of like a little bit of a screen, essentially.
I know.
Tay
Yeah.
kind of cut and took Puka's corner out of the play. Even doing something like that, I think could have worked really well, but I don't know. It was just a weird call. Maybe you go outside with Kyron instead of right through the middle. Hindsight's tough, man. Other than that, though, my thoughts on the game, like Stafford played really well. Stafford's top five, man. We know this. That was my takeaway in the second half. Like he was just cooking, absolutely cooking. Um, it felt like a game to me. Like, yeah, we can talk about the fourth down, but you had the Kyron fumble, which to me, I know you probably don't feel this way as the Rams fan, which I can understand, but that was a better defensive play than Kyron losing the ball there. Like, the Niners defender came from behind and like punched it out like a peanut punch. Um, so I don't put that completely on Kyron. That like hold on to the ball for sure, but that's a crazy play. That's a crazy play. That's so rare. Um, and then they had the blocked field goal. You look back on that, that would have changed everything. Just one of those weird games, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll start from beginning to end everything that pissed me off. The defense was atrocious yesterday, and I don't know if it was Shula's idea or McVay's idea. It it was McVay's idea. I'm not even going to try and blame it on Shula. This game, top to bottom, everybody involved in the process from Monday to Thursday fucked up, except for Stafford and Puka. Like the only two dudes that showed up to play were Stafford and Puka. Like the only two dudes that were on the same page. Like start to
Yeah.
finish, the defense comes out, it's flat as shit. They just like get walked down by the Niners. They don't send any blitzes. The front four can't get any pressure, and then the secondary is getting torched by what's the dude's name?
Oh.
Keisha, what's his name? Kendrick Bourne, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He had like over 100 yards or something
He
yesterday.
was frying.
Like,
Frying.
and this it'll culminate into the very end of my whole rant. But dude, they get walked down for two touchdowns, and the offense just shits itself on the first two drives, which I get it. Whatever, like respond and recover, whatever bullshit Sean McVay says, and then they scored the touchdown on the leak out by Kyron on the Niners blitz, and I think it was 17-7 going into half. And at that point, I felt really good. I was like, they've played terrible football, and you're down 10 points. Granted, you're playing against the Niners Z team. Like, this is the worst possible team they could put on the field, right? And the craziest thing was the spread was 8.5. The last time that the spread was that large in margin, I think, in the Niners and Rams series or rivalry series. It's not really a rivalry because they just beat the shit out of the Rams every single time. It was in 2020 when the Rams had the best defense in the league and they played Nick Mullins at home and Nick Mullins waxed them. It was like 37
Yeah.
20 something. So it's hilarious that the odds were the same. But go okay, so here's the thing that pissed me off. The same thing that's been haunting them for the last 3 weeks now since Philadelphia, which is drops, unforced turnovers, and terrible special teams play, is has carried over for 3 weeks now, and at some point you have to wonder, is it an execution thing on the player's behalf, or is it a coaching thing on McVay, Shula, and LaFleur's behalf, and Blackburn, the special teams coach? Because on what I think there was a drive at the end of the second half when Corum fumbled one. That was a touchdown looking drive, and they were efficient in the red zone too, outside of the fumble by Kyren and the fourth down stop. Like they were pretty efficient in the fourth down or in the red zone for a Rams team that the last few years just is shit in the red zone. So Corum fumbles away. That's points. The thing that really pissed me off was there was another drive on 2nd and 6. Whittington had a leak out like to the left side. Easy first down. Drops the ball. Next play, Kyren has the exact same play, like the blitz beater, out to the right. The same thing he scored the touchdown on. All he has to do is catch the ball, and he gets at least 20 yards, if not a touchdown. Boom, drop, and then boom, missed field goal. It was a 53-yarder that Cardi missed, right? So that's already 3 points knocked off the scoreboard, along with whatever happened on the Corum drive. So that's at minimum 6 points.
Yeah.
And then they go in the second half, and then they have to play catch-up with the Niners. And granted, the defense stepped up in the second half and only allowed 6 points outside of 9 including overtime, but 6 in the second half. If your defense is only allowing 6 points in the second half, you should be able to outscore a defense that doesn't have their starting safety and their best defender, arguably, in Bosa. I mean, you could make the argument Warner, Bosa, whatever. Okay. Then you get to the fucking final drive, and Kyren fumbles the ball on the 1 yard line, and I get the point. He got punched. I don't really give a shit at this point anymore because he was... The play before, when he got hit, 2 hands on the ball. What did he do on the fucking touchdown drive, or on the final play, is he held it in one arm, and that was the side closest to the defensive line. I don't know why he didn't have it in his left. Or, on top of that, just hold it. Hold the ball. This is his eighth fumble that's been lost in the two and a quarter seasons that he's played with the Rams. I think he has 11 total if you count the ones that the Rams have gotten back. So they've recovered 3, but 8 fumbles in just under 40 games. So he's fumbling once every 5 games. That's nuts. That's if you don't include the fumbles that the Rams recover. That's once every 4 games, probably closer to once every 3.5. Like, that's nuts. And you paid him for a 2-year deal, 11 years, $11 million per year. Okay, that's crazy enough. Then they get the ball back, and they get the field goal at the end of the game. Great. Me and my dad both looked at each other, and we were like, they're going to find a way to fuck this up. Like, we looked at each other, and he was like, I don't like the way this is ending. And I was like, I couldn't agree more. Then defense gets a stop after Cardi messes up the squib kick and puts the Niners at the 40. They stop him and hold him for a field goal, which, by the way, Pinheiro drilled a 58-yard kick yesterday.
Yeah.
Fuck me, dude. That's just... It is what it is at that point. Like, if the other kicker's hitting 58-yarders, your day is shit. And then they drive down the field. Stafford makes incredible throws. And then on 4th down and 1, I get the timeout thing. But... And I like the call on 4th down to go for it. But to run the ball on 4th and 1 was the most predictable shit Sean McVay has pulled out of his ass in the last 8 or 9 years that he's been the head coach. Me and my dad just looked at the field and we were like, yeah, that's how it ends. Like, is Sean McVay's bullshit ass play calling. Like, you give the ball to the dude who fumbled instead of going to your quarterback, who's probably the MVP, like the leading MVP candidate in the league right now. Like, he's playing out of his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
And you give it to Kyren Williams, bro? Like, it's nuts to me. That was so crazy to me that I can forgive Sean McVay for a lot of the things that have happened because he instilled the culture into LA and made them a winning team, as opposed to when Jeff Fisher was here and all the years before. Like, I praise him for that, but his play calling, his play designing is fine. He schemes guys open. He has a great run scheme when it comes to using his offensive linemen, who were clearly undermatched against a backup defensive line. I can't believe that he's this poor of a play caller this many years into the league, being that he's like an offensive mind. Like it's just so bewildering to me that that's the play call. Like Stafford has
Yeah.
380, a couple touchdown or three touchdowns, and he specifically in the second half he was like 20 of 30 with two touchdowns, like or a touchdown. Like he wasn't missing people in the second half. And you take the ball out of his hands after he walked down that defense single handedly that whole drive. Like it's so crazy to me. And then after the game, he does the same shit every single time where he's like, it's got to, it's we then me guys. Look, I just had a bad decision there, and that's my fault. I'm going to be kicking ourselves, but this presents a great opportunity because at the end of the day, it's really going to show us what type of team we are, and I love these guys. And it's like, okay, dude, at some point you just have to admit to yourself that the play calling just isn't up to standard and either relinquish it or share it with LaFleur, because LaFleur's called good games in the preseason for the Rams as well as in games that McVay's given him the reins. I think he called the game against the Niners at the end of the 2023 season. And I think he might have called the game against the Seahawks last year at the end of the year. Like when the games don't matter, they'll let LaFleur call the games. And I think that his play calling is better than McVay's. I mean, small sample size, whatever. I get McVay's still a top 5 coach in the league, but it's bewildering to me that this team is 3-2. They could easily be 1-4. Like they really shouldn't have won the Texans game, and they really shouldn't have won the Colts game. Like they should be 1-4. And they didn't even play that well against Tennessee. When I went to the game, the score, it was like 37-21 or something. It should have been 50-10. Like they should have blown the brakes off the Titans. Like the Titans are top 2 worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
And they struggled against them in the first half. And that's another thing. I'll stop in a second. But the first half Rams used to be so elite that Sean McVay was like 34-0 when leading at halftime. Like if they had the lead at halftime, which was over 80% of the time in the regular season up until like 2020, 2021. Oh, you know what's crazy? The game that he finally choked the fucking record on was the year of the Super Bowl when they lost Week 17 to the Niners after they were up 17-0 at half. That was the first game Sean McVay lost with the lead at halftime. He was like 45-0 before, which was a crazy statistic because they always used to be up in the first half and played well enough in the second half to close out games. Now, the last 3 years, they've transitioned into, okay, let's shit the bed as hard as we can the first half, and then like let's mail it in for half of the third quarter, and then when we remember that we have like a Hall of Fame quarterback and talent around him, like, oh my gosh, we should start running a hurry up offense that teams still haven't been able to figure out. Like they did it against Philly last year in the playoffs when they needed a touchdown with 5 minutes left, and they just walked Philadelphia down before the very final drive. Before the very final drive,
Yes.
they had a
Yeah.
different drive and they scored a touchdown on in like 3 minutes. And then even that drive, they walked it down the field. Like at some point you just have to admit to yourself, hey, we can't do shit else except for put the ball in Stafford's hands and just let him distribute to wherever is open. Like they did the same thing to the Niners yesterday when they walked him down the field and scored. Like that. Like on the very last drive, they walked him down the field, and then I think on the other drive, I think it was the one where it ended up in the Puka touchdown. They walked down the field, and the second Kyron drive, they walked down the field with Stafford's arm. It's crazy to me that they gave the ball to Kyron.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you go.
It's hard for me. I'm not gonna push back completely because I know you're like obviously the Rams guy more than me. Like I watch them with you, when I can. But
Yeah,
it's hard for me only because it just felt like football. I always tell people like it's just one of those bizarre sports where like yeah, you can predict a game, you can look at a spread of 8.5 and be like, okay, yeah, Rams are gonna kill them. But like man, the second
they got
Kyle
to play the
Shanahan
game.
gets going a little bit and they get in rhythm, and then like you have especially nowadays in the NFL, like we have a very weird like special teams thing going on. Like
Oh,
There's been a
dude.
lot of special teams touchdown and like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay are the front and center of this thing, which to your point, like the 59, 58-yard field goal the Niners made yesterday, very bizarre. Like if they're making those plays and you're getting a field goal blocked and you've got like a weird fumble, two weird fumbles, like what are you gonna do? And and it still got to OT. Like
Yeah, I
and
didn't
you get
even.
to the fourth and one. Like I agree with the premise of like probably should have been a pass. Like I would agree. I would say if that was a Texans game and they ran it and didn't get it, I'd be like, whatever. What are you gonna do? But when you have like the Hall of Fame, elite MVP tier quarterback, you probably put it in his hands. You probably even on a if it was fourth and inches, all right, maybe you're
Yeah,
pushing QB sneak, whatever. But fourth one, fourth and two, even though it feels like it's a run spot, you probably give it to your guy because they couldn't guard anything through the air. The Niners couldn't. Like, but
I mean, neither could the
it's
Rams, dude.
tough. I
Holy
mean,
shit.
again, it's hindsight 2020. Like, it's easy to look back. If they had gotten the first down, running the ball, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't even really talk about the special teams. I hope they fired Chase Blackburn. Like they should have fired him immediately they should have done it at the press conference because of how embarrassing the blocking is on kicks. Like they got the PAT blocked and then they missed the field goal. And I think that the problem, and they pointed it out on the Pat McAfee show, which I hate that dude, but he made a good point along with another dude on Twitter last night. But the knuckleballs that Cardi kicks on kickoff are totally messing with the way he's kicking the ball for field goals because I think the
yeah,
ball is coming off a little flat. Now, granted, he still needs time to kick the ball, and this horseshit offensive line that they've assembled of just mid tier players has just been infiltrated. Like the long snapper got ran through on the play, and the right side, which was the side that has been holding up, finally got penetrated. So now you can't trust either side of the kicking unit. Like they need a complete overhaul of how they line up. Like last year, I think that they had a nose tackle as one of the guys next to the long snapper. Like they just need to use their strongest guys to line up there as opposed to these soft ass offensive linemen that they keep picking up because literally everyone except for Stafford and Puka is to blame. Like the offensive line was not very good. There was penalties on them. They weren't holding up for Stafford. The running backs sucked. The wide receivers outside of Puka really didn't do anything. I mean, Tutu had a good play. Devontae slipped on a play that should have been a pick for the Niners. Devontae played well, and I'll give him a pass. Same thing with Tutu. And I'll give your boy Ferguson a pass too, because he clutched up, and I literally thought I was being blessed from the heavens because I haven't seen that guy play a single snap in 4 games. So, and he made a hell of a catch. Like that, your
yeah.
first NFL catch is mossing a dude on third down. Like, sign me up for what's to come. I'll eat my shit on that
No,
because
so
that was a great play. The D line was terrible yesterday outside of run defense. They gave up 2.5 yards on average on like 33 Niner carries. Like that's crazy. But then you think to yourself like they only got a sack at the end of the fourth quarter. They weren't present in the first half. They were barely present in the second. And then the secondary. The only defender I'll excuse from yesterday's performance was Nate Landman, who's been a great pickup at linebacker. Everybody else sucks so much ass yesterday that there's not enough time to list off everyone's name as to who sucked. Like Fisk was non-existent yesterday. Byron Young was non-existent. Verse was getting clamped by Trent Williams outside of a few plays. Kobe Turner was silent. Poona Ford was solid because he's the best run defender they have. Forbes, Williams, Durant, Kitchens, Lake, Curl, all the safeties or all the defensive backs sucked. Like, long story short, I want them to bench Kyron. They have to make it known that you
well,
can't
but
fumble.
Corum has a fumbling problem too. So
Okay, well, no. Corum, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's had one fumble in the time that he's been a Ram, I'm pretty sure. I've liked what I've seen out of Corum this season more than what I've seen out of Kyron because it's 2 games in a row now. Kyron's showboated on the other team and then cost his team a fumble. Like he fumbled against the Colts last week, fumbled against the Niners this week. Corum has looked good in spurts. The one thing that he can't do, seemingly, which blows my mind, is catch the fucking ball. Like just it's right here. Just put
Yeah.
your hands on it. But if he can run the ball efficiently, then you can swap out him for Kyron on third down and make Kyron the passing back or the pass catching back, which even he can't catch the fucking ball. So it's like, why don't you play your fourth round rookie that you drafted to be a change of pace? Like, why don't you use him at all, Sean McVay? It's bewildering to me that he doesn't use him, nor does he use Ferguson. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah,
That makes no
I
sense
think
to me.
my main takeaway, and I wanted to hint back on it, but I let you keep going there. We have a big special teams issue in the NFL right now because I think a ton of teams are putting like you don't have unlimited time in a day, right? And all these special teams coaches are really focusing on the new kickoff rules, and I think it's making everything else that should be routine not routine. For example, like blocking, um, you know, you're
Yeah.
blocking on a field goal, right? Like it it's way I don't know the stats on it, but I can tell you for sure like it's way more common this season than it has been before. I'm not really sure like there's
Well,
no reason for it other than that. Like
no,
I don't think teams are really practicing it,
the
and
cra-
it's
the crazy
clearly
thing is it's low key just the Rams. Like they've had 4 block kicks in the last 4 weeks. Like that's no other team has that. I know that for like teams have given like the Bucks got destroyed on special teams last week by the Eagles.
yeah
Like, but the Rams are just consistently like the Eagles. I think have won a couple of games off special teams. The Niners won a game yesterday off special teams. Essentially, like the I, I think the reason why it's so prevalent is because the Rams have been so shit at it that it's made the rest of the league like. I mean, granted, punt returns don't happen often, kick returns don't happen often, pick sixes happen not really often either, but
yeah
like they still occur within the course of a season. Like the last couple years, it's happened, but this amount of blocking kicks, especially for one team consistently week to week, has not happened. Like it's not even trying to make it about the Rams, but like they suck so bad that I think it's brought up the prevalency of this because it's
Yeah, I
happened
mean, yes,
so
that's
many
probably
times.
fair. But it definitely has been like I don't have the every game from the last 4 weeks like on deck, but it's been more than the Rams. The Rams are the most for sure,
Yeah,
but there's been many teams that have had this issue. Like kickers
yeah.
are better than ever, but at the same time, the blocking up front. I mean, there's been a lot of block kicks. The Cowboys got one last Sunday against the Packers on an extra point. How's
Hmm.
that back? I mean,
That changed the game.
literally cost them a win. Like the
Yeah.
game went to overtime. Like, um, yeah, it's interesting. Let's transition just because we don't have unlimited time either on the pod. Um, we'll come back to football possibly for the NFL. We'll see if we have time for picks, but I definitely want to make sure we get to MLB as well as a little college football. So let's hit MLB real quick. We've got our divisional series set. Yankees, Blue Jays, Cubs, Brewers, Dodgers, Phillies, Tigers, Mariners. And then obviously that means we just finished the wild card. Nothing too much really surprised me from the wild card. I did think, just because of recent history, I really did think the Red Sox were going to beat the Yankees. They got the win in game 1 and then, yeah, lost the next two. Um, Padres Cubs was kind of a toss up.
I really
Dodgers.
thought the Padres. Sorry, I really thought that. I think I agree with the Red Sox Yankees take. I thought the Padres were for sure going to beat the Cubs.
I did too. I just like I have enough respect for the Cubs where it didn't like completely shock me, but I, I, I've always believed in the Padres, so I'm with you there. Like the Padres were my pick, but yeah, I mean the hitting couldn't get it done. Dodgers obviously smoked the Reds, not too much of a shock. And then I thought the Guardians were going to hold off the Tigers. That was probably the biggest shock to me, but again, not like super super shocking. But I just when you have a team that's hot like the Guardians, you think that the hot team is gonna
Take
get
it.
it done.
Yeah. I I don't know. I thought after the Guardians won game two, after I think they exploded in like the top of the ninth or something, or one of the late innings, they had like a pretty big, I think they scored like 5 runs. And I thought that was going to be like the turning point for them. Like you're kind of saying like they were hot. Uh, yeah, I didn't really understand how that series unfolded. I'm curious how the Tigers are going to fare against the Mariners. I think that's the least interesting series. Because like Blue Jays Yankees is kind of a rivalry, at least
That's gonna be a
division
fun one.
wise.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think I think the Blue Jays in theory should win it, but I mean the Yankees have
I gotta
some
check
good
that out.
starting pitching. Like Freed, I don't know who started game two. Was it Rodon that started game two for
Rodon was game two. Yep.
yeah, so I mean Freed, Rodon, and if Schlittler plays like that, or Schittler, whatever his name is, I mean he pitched a gem yesterday against the Sox. 8 innings, 12 Ks, 5 hits, no walks against the team that passed up on him because I think he was a Red Sox fan as a kid, which makes it a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
So that should be a good series. I think the Jays will still take it, but I I could see it going either way. I just think the Jays have maybe more depth at pitching, which I don't know if it necessarily matters in a 5 game series, but I do think that they have better pitching in a maybe a deeper batting order.
Hmm.
I'm not too invested into the AL if I'm being frank. I'm not as invested as seen by the hat.
Yeah. I
I
mean, I
think
think the Mariners. I'm looking at the odds right now and everything. I think AL. I think. I mean, I'm going Blue Jays, Mariners. Um, Maybe there's a little bit of like bias in there, and I just fade the Yankees, but it usually does me pretty well.
I'll be shocked if the Mariners lose to the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't. I think the Mariners. They might be my World Series pick. I'm thinking about. I haven't made a pick yet
I don't
officially.
know, Jim.
I don't know,
I
Jim.
don't know, Jim.
I mean, I think the Dodgers. I don't. What's the like ranking right now?
I think the Dodgers just took out the Phillies for first in betting odds.
Yeah,
I think whoever wins the Dodger Philly series is going to win the World Series.
it's crazy that that's like the divisional series.
It, yeah, I wish that they had. I mean, obviously it's how it works out. But if the Dodgers were to gotten to play the Brewers or the Cubs, and then the Phillies get the other team, I think that would have made it interesting. Because I think I think everyone kind of sees that. I mean, maybe I'm just being a homer, but the Dodgers Philly series is probably the series that everyone's looking forward to the most out of these four. I would say, just from a
Yeah,
competitive
for sure.
standpoint, but also like
That's the
star
most hyped
power
up.
wise. Yeah. So yeah, I just think with the way each team is positioned, I think they have what you need to win a World Series. I think they both have good starting pitching. I mean, the Dodgers bullpen is dog shit. But Roki looks pretty good in the relief role. The Phillies got Duran, so like they have just by Duran himself, solid bullpen, and then they have bats that can hit. Yeah, I still think that the Phillies or Dodgers are going to take it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
not.
the thing that makes it interesting is like the Mariners. I think a reason I like them as a bet potentially is just because they should theoretically like anything can happen, of course, but like they have the easiest path, if that's fair.
Yeah, I no, I
Like
agree.
they feel like not a guarantee, of course, to make the World Series, but like they have a pretty good shot at making it. So like that obviously helps, and then if you handle business after making it, then you win the World Series. Um,
Yeah,
I think, yeah, I mean Dodgers Phillies is going to be like can't miss baseball. I definitely lean Dodgers there. Just I think the Otani factor is very real. Like especially with how he played in the wild card, like how he started the wild card, like just a statement. Um, he's locked in for the postseason. Um,
Mookie looks good too.
yeah,
Mookie's getting hot. I didn't think the offense was gonna blow like they did. It was 18 runs in 2 games. Like, that is pretty crazy. I mean, granted they gave up 9 to the Reds, 8 to the
Yeah,
Reds,
they gave up
maybe.
more than I thought, but like they outscored him. That's all that matters. Like,
Yeah, and the other thing too is that I mean, the Reds are a professional baseball team, but they probably didn't. I mean, the Dodgers, I think, thought that they had enough without having to deploy like a very serious arsenal of guys. Like they didn't throw Glasnow out there for like relief. They didn't carry Kershaw on the wild card roster at all. Like, and I think that he would have been effective after like piggybacking off of people. Like I think it was the Snell start when they had like a 60 pitch eighth inning. Like they went through 3 or 4 guys in the top of the
yes,
eighth or whatever. Like
it
if
was
that was
this.
Glasnow or Kershaw, I think that would have been dealt with swiftly. And like the crazy thing is the two, I think Snell and Yamamoto had they both gave up 2 unearned runs. Like the Teoscar missed the catch on in the Yamamoto start, and then I forget what it was, but I don't, or maybe Snell got tagged at the end of the game. But like the starting pitching was nails for them. Like they just beat themselves and shot themselves in the foot in the second game to start it, and then they still stormed back offensively. Um, I mean, they don't have a bullpen, but if Sasaki can keep up for them and the offense keeps playing like that, they should win the World Series. Like if the offense is rolling, if they can get on Cristo Sanchez early in Game One,
Yeah,
like they should. Like he might be the best pitcher they face the rest of the postseason. I would say like the Cubs, the Cubs don't really have an ace.
no,
Personally, I don't think so. I don't think Imanaga is an ace.
no.
Peralta on the Brewers, you could say, is an ace, but the Brewers always choke in the biggest moments. Quite sold on their performance, although I mean Peralta is good, but I don't think he's Cristo Sanchez good. Um, if you make a statement on him game one, I think that swings the odds of the series pretty heavily.
Who do you like? If you're, would how would you pick the series winners? We can go through that.
Yeah, I think it's Mariners, Blue Jays. I honestly think it's a toss up between the Brewers and the Cubs. I want to say the Cubs take it because I think they have momentum. I'll go Cubs, and then
Feels like there's some magic there. I don't know. Like I want to pick the Brewers, but I'm kind of with you. Something is telling me to go Cubs.
well I mean they lost or they won the first game off of a couple homers and like I mean their offense just hasn't looked good, but I mean their bullpen keeps them. I mean I don't think their bullpen's given up 1 run. I want to say in the series that they just played. Like their pitching was pretty
They
good.
held the
I'll get
Padres, man. 5 total runs in 3 games.
because Boyd got the first start, and then Kitteridge started game two, and then Imanaga piggybacked him. And then who started yesterday? Was it Jameson Talion? I don't know how to say his name.
I can look. Yeah,
I know it
yeah.
was him, but yeah. I mean they have good pitching. It seems like the Brewers have everybody's number this year, but yeah, I'll take the Cubs because I think that their bats, I think their style of baseball is a little bit better suited for the playoffs, like hitting home runs as opposed to getting on base and then stealing bases. I don't know if it's going to work for the Brewers because they are very analytical and kind of play small ball baseball, if you will.
Yeah.
But they do have a pitching advantage, the Brewers do. So if they can shut down the Cubs offense, that already looks kind of.
A little
I mean, I don't think
stagnant. I mean, they only scored 6 runs through 3 games.
so. And a lot, and granted, coming off the long ball, like it's a good thing, but if you can't get anybody on base for the moonshot, it's it's 1 run. Like it's no different than 2 doubles or whatever the case is. So I'll take Cubs, and then I guess I got to pick the Dodgers wearing the hat. But I would not be surprised if the Phillies take it. I think they're very evenly matched, but I think it'll be a good series. I'm curious to see how Otani fares in his first playoff start tomorrow because
No, I was looking at that. That's gonna be pretty interesting.
yeah. Do you are your picks the same for
Exact same. Yeah.
exact same? Okay. I
So
figured that we
we're
were
all
going to be pretty similar.
Yeah,
who do you think's gonna win? Let's say out of our, let's just pick who's gonna come out of each league. I'm
I'm
assuming
going.
Mariners,
Yeah, I'm
and
going Mariners. I think that I'm pulling a little bit for the Blue Jays. For Jackson.
Jackson.
I think the Marin. I just there's something about teams being hot, really hot, going into the postseason across all sports that I think you just kind of
Dangerous.
have to follow that. And so I think if I had to pick now, I'm going Mariners, Dodgers World Series, and that. Oh, it's tough. That's tough for me.
I mean
I just
the
I've been following the Mariners just as a AL West, you know, merchant. Like they're legit. I think the moves they made at the deadline, like not underrated. Like I think people recognize the significance of the moves, but I think they were really solid, and they've worked out.
yeah
They also have the pitching too. The Mariners do.
yeah
That's the part that like if it's a Mariners Dodgers World Series, like I want to go Dodgers, but at the same time, that Mariners pitching's pretty elite, pretty
it is,
elite all
but
around, starters
that
and bullpen.
that last series of the that last series of the year when the Dodgers played them and they put out a couple of backup lineups and I think I don't know if they swept the Mariners. I know they at least took two off the Mariners and the offense looked pretty good, but they tagged Gilbert. I don't think Wu pitched for
Yeah, they
them.
swept them.
Yeah, they tagged I think Kirby maybe. Like they were getting on their starters and their bullpen. Um, like they were
They
jumping
see
on their
Wu.
pitchers. So
They did not see Wu. Gilbert, yeah, Gilbert's interesting.
they got
Um,
Gilbert and Kirby, I think, and then
yeah,
maybe Castillo. Wu's the guy I'm scared of in that lineup as a fantasy baseball manager of his. Which shout out me number one, had to self promote there. Let's go. But yeah, nah, I
you're talking to the last two fantasy baseball winners on the podcast, so
indeed
let's go.
our we're gonna have to lock in for next year too. It'll be
Yeah,
a good time. But yeah, no, I Mariners Dodgers. I think that'd be good entertainment value. I mean the Yankees. I don't know. I think the Yankees are starting to look a little warm, especially in the pitching department. So maybe I want the Blue Jays to pull. I want the Blue Jays to win. I'm pulling for them, but I would not be shocked if the Yankees beat the Blue Jays and then they
yeah,
take it to the Mariners and the Mariners pull a classic Seattle choke.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how it's all going to fare, but I'm very excited for the rest of it because I don't think anyone has a clear idea as to who. Like last year, after the Dodgers got past the Padres, I think people were kind of leaning on the Dodgers. And
Yeah.
even when they got to the World Series, like people were gonna like, oh, Dodgers in six, Dodgers in seven. Like it was just kind of a assumed thing. I don't think anyone's sold on anybody. Like even if you're sold on the Mariners, like we are making it out of the AL, it realistically,
Like they could match up with the Jays or Yankees, and I wouldn't be shocked at a loss there. Like
yeah. Or I mean maybe they even lose to Detroit. Like that would be crazy. I just whole season has been pretty wild. So
it feels like the Dodgers should be the favorite, and like they are the favorite. But the difference from last year is, and I know we
it's
talked about
weird.
this a number of times, but they kind of had a couple weird slumps in the regular season, and like it is baseball, so like you have to really take like it's kind of like the NBA, but even to a more degree. Like the slumps don't mean as much, but at the same time, to me, it doesn't mean nothing. Like it means there's some vulnerability there. Like you could hit a postseason slump. I'm not saying they are, but like
Yeah,
you got to take that into account. I think.
yeah. I think it'll be the bullpen if they do end up losing at whatever point or whatever the case is, knock on wood. I think it's going to be the bullpen that sells them,
Yeah.
but we'll
Well,
see.
let's hit on a little college football real quick, and then we can maybe circle back to some football picks for this week. I don't really have anything specific to talk about. Just wanted to hit on it in case we got a listener, a couple listeners in. Um, I mean, it's been a wild college football year, man. The SEC, it just looks like they're beating up on each other right now. There's no really clear cut favorite. Texas has been very underwhelming. Arch Manning has not been what people thought. Even what I was a skeptic for sure, but I can't even take full credit because I thought he would stink up against Ohio State. I called that, but then I thought he would kind of hit form, and he can't hit layup passes. Like I mean, people are like, is he playing hurt? Like, what's going on? It's very weird there. Bama had the weird week one and is now back into full form, and I'm bought in on Bama very much. I think Ty Simpson's legit. Samson's legit. I mean, they got a good core, and Kalen DuBois. I'm a Pac-12 guy. He's a Washington guy. He's different. He's not Saban, but they got a good one down in Bama, I think. Just a weird start to the year for them, but I think they're roaring still. Oklahoma was off to a really good start, and they're still undefeated, but Mateer's gone, so that's something to watch for. Like, if they get him back soon enough and they're still undefeated, they could somehow come out of the SEC. It's very possible, especially with how Texas looks right now. Like, they win that game, and they're in a prime position too. And then on the Big Ten side of things, you still got Ohio State, Oregon that look to be kind of the big dogs there. I think if I were to predict like a non-biased, because obviously big Oregon fan here, but I think you still got to go Ohio State to win it all at this point. Julian Sand is hitting on all cylinders. They still got Jeremiah Smith, even though he's kind of started slow. I still believe in him when it's all said and done in a big game. I mean, if that's the Big Ten championship, it's Oregon, Ohio State. It could be like a national championship preview. Like, you could get that in December, and then get that matchup again in January, which is insane. Those two seem to be, especially with how the Big Ten plays out, like it's a way different gauntlet from the SEC because it's very top heavy. So you play like your tough games, and then other than that, it's kind of a coast essentially. Like, Oregon's toughest game left is Indiana. So, and I think they'll smoke the heck out of Indiana. I'm not really worried about that game. But it's a fun college football year, man. I don't know if I have any like crazy takes. I think Heisman. Shout out my guy Dante Moore. My take was the same. I needed to see the Penn State game. I thought it was the spot where he'd struggle and show us a lot. And he threw no picks and I would say, like, the glazing's going to be crazy, but I haven't seen a quarterback game like that in a really, really long time. Like, to go into that environment in your first real start, like, it essentially was a similar situation to what Arch Manning did, right? Going to Ohio State, having that big, road start, but it's the wideout game, and you play like a perfect game. Unbelievable. Like, that was insane. So I think he's clearly the Heisman front runner. I'd go with him at this point, but it's kind of like the MLB, man. It's pretty wide open. Like, I think with NIL, we're kind of out of the era of the dynasties, essentially. Like, could Ohio State repeat and become a dynasty? It's very possible, but you lose so many guys in the portal, lose so many guys at the draft if you win, that like it's really hard to, keep going. So it's yeah, man. It's a wild state to be in with CFB. Do you have any takes at all? Anything you want to add? Or question?
I don't really have anything to add. I do think Oregon and Ohio State are far and away the two best teams. Penn State is so ass.
That's what I forgot to hit on. I know you're going to hit on them, so really quick. The two teams that preseason, I was like, my two natty favorites were Penn State and Texas. Now, I still think Texas can turn it around. Like they have a really big game this weekend against Florida. Um, like they have the roster. The weapons are a little questionable, but you have to believe Arch Manning can do it. But
Yeah.
Penn State, man, like you got to win that game against Oregon. You have to. And I thought they would. I mean, Aller is a multiple year starter, and you let like Dante Moore, who's not like a freshman, obviously necessarily, but in terms of experience, kind of like a freshman, like you let him and a very young Oregon team come in and win that game, they're done to me. I was wrong on Penn State.
Yeah, I just the head coach is annoying as hell, and Alar is just overrated, and he doesn't get any flack, which is low key kind of crazy. I mean, maybe I'm just not in the spaces for college football to see it, but I mean, I only really watch college football, and I have been watching it more this season than last, specifically at quarterbacks, just because of what was going on preseason with the Rams. But I mean, Stafford looks like
Yeah.
a reincarnation of Peyton Manning this year, so I'll hold off on it. But I will say this from an outside perspective: a lot of the quarterbacks this year that were slated to be like top guys just aren't proving it, and I'm really
Yeah.
curious who's going to be. I mean, Nussmeier, Sellers, Alar, I guess Mateer. I mean, Mateer's been good, but he also had a couple of turnovers that I didn't really
And he's
understand.
hurt. He's
Yeah,
literally, I mean,
and
like,
he's hurt. I mean, there's been a few other guys. I'm trying to think who else has been disappointing. Maybe it's
well, you
just
didn't
those
say
three.
art, but that goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean, Arch has been terrible this year.
I'm trying to think. You said pretty much all the guys, I think. Carson
Klubnik,
Beck is kind of
Jesus,
oh yeah, Klubnik, yeah. That was
terrible.
yeah, that was one take. I said where I was wrong. I was very right on Clemson. My goodness.
Yeah, like I'm just
So
curious
great.
if you're like if you're the number one team or if you're picking first, like if you're the Saints this upcoming draft and you're picking first, like are you taking one of these quarterbacks? Like, because
That's a good
assuming
question.
assuming Dante Moore comes out with him, I think because he's eligible to do so, right?
Yeah, he is.
So it's like,
Um,
who do you take? I'm just curious how that's gonna all unfold and how the rest of the season will look for the college quarterbacks that are entering the draft this year because there's not like a far and away like okay this is the guy, like usually there's a guy, there is no, like last year
there's no guy right now. That's why it's
who
so wide open.
am I
Like
tripping on who went who Cam Ward, like Cam Ward was far and away like the quarterback, like Shadur was the other name but not really, like he was the other name that people were saying, but it was like Cam Ward, like there is no, out of the guys at
yeah,
least that were coming out, obviously there was other good quarterbacks that played last year, but specifically guys that were going into the draft, and there seems to be a decent amount this year, like of like top end talent. Because
I thought it was
Art,
going to be Aller. I really did.
yeah,
I will eat
he's got
that.
the tools.
I was wrong. There's really now to be fair, like, all these teams are 2-2, 3-1, 4-0, whatever. Like there's a lot of room for growth as we finish out the year. Like it's very possible, but there's no, like I haven't seen mock drafts, but I mean the number one quarterback's probably Dante, and that's like I'm a Dante Moore guy. Don't get me wrong. I had to see the Penn State game. I believe in him. Maybe not quite number one pick level, like at least
Yeah,
yet. We got to see more probably to like have the same like Cam Ward take with Dante Moore.
I agree.
Um, because yeah, everyone else is really kind of people like Lagway as well, and he's been
And he's
awful.
terrible.
Like
No
it's this might be the year where it's not a number one quarterback
quarterback.
off the board. And you also like,
Beck Beck
Beck
has
is very
surprised me.
possible.
He's surprised
Yeah,
me, I will say. I didn't think he was gonna be. I thought he was just gonna kind of trail off and then end up being like a late round pick this year. But he's actually kind of proved his value's gone back up, I'll say.
I think people don't understand, and like again, it's easy to have hindsight, confirmation bias, whatever. But like, I believed there's a couple things with the Beck situation that are interesting to me that I kind of saw before the season. Number one is like, okay, you put in a guy like Beck with the same OC that Cam Ward had and the same offense, like that's gonna click to a point, right? Like it has to at least. And number
Yeah.
two, like Georgia's weapons, we had the Lad McConkey, Brock Bowers, like you know the running backs that they've had the last couple years, into the dynasty years. They don't really have that anymore. Like the
Yeah.
skill positions for Georgia last year, in my opinion, were pretty poor. And Beck had suffered the most drops out of any quarterback last year in all of college football, which includes like CSU and SDSU. Like that's pretty alarming.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Um, like so it just it I think his confidence was just rattled at Georgia. I think he's not a number one pick guy to me, but he's pretty good. Like I think he can be an NFL guy. Um, Yeah, he got a very good situation going to Miami this year. They spent a lot of money to like I think their thought with last year as a program, they were like we wasted Cam Ward essentially, which is pretty valid. Like they had no defense to back him up, and now
Yeah.
they like invested a ton of money into their defense, and now they're looking like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Miami, which is insane. um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what happens with mock drafts and what quarterbacks stand out because there's always like we've been NFL fans and football fans for a long time. Like every single year, there's a quarterback that like gets hyped up kind of for no reason and then gets picked early. Like teams get quarterback desperate and then it's like, oh man, like this guy's pretty good. Like this guy's legit. Like how did JJ McCarthy go top 10? Like come on, guys.
Still
Like
can't figure that one out.
I, like teams just get quarterback desperate, and then it's like, oh yeah, we'll back this guy. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. Um, we got some time, just a little bit, so let's we can look at next
What was
week
that?
NFL
Was there a topic that you said that you wanted to bring up? You said that
for
you had like a surprise or something.
I have a hot take for
Picks.
yeah. I
Okay.
really like Baltimore to win against the Texans.
The Ravens.
Yeah. Ravens, Texans. Ravens have like nobody. Um, Texans have a big Derrick Henry problem and a big Ravens problem. No matter what, we've had it for 15 years now, essentially. And I think they're gonna run. I think they're gonna hand it to Derrick Henry like 30 times on Sunday, and there's nothing that we're gonna be able to do about it because when he was in Tennessee, we gave up. I think we gave up like 200-yard games to Derrick Henry. Like we have a Derrick Henry issue. It doesn't matter if there's 15 guys in the box. It doesn't matter. Like I think Cooper Rush is gonna have like under 15 pass attempts, and they're just gonna because I think what people are like sleeping on a little bit is like they really need to win this game. Like I don't think they're gonna play it cute. They're gonna be like we're
No.
gonna chew clock, we're gonna keep it out of the offense's hands because we know we can't play defense, and they're just gonna run the ball like every single play, and they're gonna win doing it that way. So I would be on the lookout for a Ravens win. I think that's my like. I don't think I can bet it as a Texans fan, but
Yeah.
I'm encouraging people on a pick. I think the Ravens will not like. I don't think if you play football that way, you're not going to blow a team out. But I think they'll win a like 16-13 ish kind of game, just giving it to Derrick Henry over and over and over again.
No,
Uh,
that is a very good point. I am kind of not nervous, but a little nervous, I guess, for the Texans because this should be a game that they take. But
It should be, and I do see a path. Like if they're able to slow him down, like because the second they get the Ravens in like a 3rd and 10, and they have to pass the ball. Oh, I think the Texans have that on lock. Like the defense has been very unreal this year across the board, including a shutout last week. Like the defense is top three, maybe one, like legitimately. Um,
Yeah.
it was 14 to the Rams, 0 to the Titans, um, barely 20 to the Bucks, last second score, which is a good offense. And then the Jaguars scored 17, where the Texans allowed them to score the last touchdown to get the ball back. Like, there's been one barely 20-point game. Barely. Um, so it's tough, but I think the Ravens are going to be able to run the ball and probably walk out with that one. Other than that, I think if I'm looking at it, look out for Sunday night. Let me just tell you, those Patriots. I think they're. I
Garland's about to
think
shit himself.
watch out for the Patriots and Drake May on Sunday night because the
Drake May's the
Bills.
truth, bruh.
The Bills sneaky like they've been handling business. Your job in the NFL is to win at no matter what, and they're 4-0. But the defense not very good. The offense is good, but I don't think the Bills' offense has been really playing elite. They didn't do great against the Saints. They should have lost the Baltimore game. What were the other two Bills games that I'm forgetting? They played, oh yeah, the Dolphins, weird game, and then they blew out the Jets. Like I just think the Bills might be a little overvalued right now, and I will gladly take Patriots in the points and possibly bet on them to win.
Yeah, I after the Rams nuked my bitch ass parlay yesterday with with the fucking Bills. I think it was Rams, Bills, Lions, Chiefs. So I mean that shit was shot the minute the Rams stepped on the field. But after you said something about it, I thought about it a little bit more, and you are right. I know I sent you that TikTok about Drake May being the most efficient passer on 3rd down, and their top two, I think, on fourth.
Yeah,
He's the truth, and what's crazy is
Josh McDaniels, man.
he's the best quarterback this year from last year's class. Like he's outplayed Penix, he's outplayed Caleb, and Daniels has been banged up, but he's outplayed him. Like
Yeah,
he's the truth, dude. He's yeah. I
and Josh McDaniels
shout
works
out him.
wonders, man.
Yeah, career saver Josh McDaniels at that
Yeah. I mean, they
last.
don't really have a ton of weapons. Like, there definitely is a turnover concern a little bit.
Yeah,
And, like, that Steelers game that the Patriots had was a little weird. But, I mean, they should be 3-1. And what was their other loss? They lost, oh, didn't they lose to the Raiders? Or they beat, yeah. Like, I think I think they started slow, and I think they're playing really well. So, we'll see. That'll be an interesting one.
yeah.
Other than that, it's kind of a weird week of games. Like, there's not a ton I'm really looking forward to. I think you have to take the Browns plus 3.5 against the Vikings. The Browns defense, something about these 1-3 teams in defense. Browns and Texans got that on lock, man. We got defense. We got defense all day. Um, yeah, like Cowboys Jets is gross. Giants Saints is gross. Um, yeah, it's a weird week of games. Um, I think that's. I mean, yeah, that's kind of all I got. I think. Unless you got anything else
I'll
to
leave
add.
off with this. If the Rams need to make a move at corner, I think that's like the most obvious thing that they need to do. I think the most obvious target for them is Horn from the Panthers. I think Denzel Ward on Browns was a target, but he's having a pretty bad year. Newsome also as well on the same team, but not really a big like a lockdown corner. And then I know fans want Gonzalez out of New England, but they're not going to trade him. And then
I don't
they're
think
also
they
talking
will.
about Sauce getting Sauce to come to LA, and that's a little bit more realistic. But he also just signed a big deal. I don't think the Jets are going to eat all that money unless they take
Yeah, I don't think so.
two firsts for him. Which, if the Rams are really serious about contending this year, which I still don't think that they are, because they just aren't willing to separate with picks anymore. If they don't make a move, they're not going to win with this current roster. So if they can get a corner like J.C. Horn and pair him with Akella Weatherspoon when he comes back at the end of the year, and you can make the playoffs, and that's the team you go in with, I'm I'm impartial, but I'd be very excited about that. But
Yeah.
they will not win shit if they don't make a move to at least get a corner. That's really the only spot I can think of.
I'm trying to think who else would be available. I mean, if the Browns, Denzel Ward, I know
It's
it's
just
kind of unlikely, but
I think he's more likely than Horn because of his age, but he's not having a great year and he's got a lot of concussion history. So one bad move and he's kind of out.
Ward's
I'd
not having a good year. I thought he had a pick against the Packers or something.
eh, I,
Maybe not.
I think from a grade standpoint and just an overall standpoint, it's just been kind of eh.
Yeah.
But
Um, I'm just looking at teams, seeing if there's a. I mean, could the Rams want Snead from the Titans, or is that like?
that was another name that got thrown out there. But after watching Devontae just destroy him, I like have a really hard time justifying that. Like every other route that he wasn't destroying Devontae wasn't destroying him on, he was holding.
Yeah.
And I'd rather go after a corner who's. I mean, there's just not a lot of good zone corners in the league. I don't think. I think a lot of guys are 1-to-1 match up with your best player, and that's just that. Which maybe that could help the defense, but I don't know. I'm too pissed off. I'm too pissed off about yesterday to really think that they're going to make a move. McVay said something
But
about
I can't sugarcoat it. That's a game that sucks. But
that's two games in the last 3 weeks that they just blow. Like they could be 5-0, they could be 1-4, but
that's also the nature of the NFL. Like, I mean, I can make an argument the Texans should have beat the Jags and beat the Rams. That like,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like, not much you can do. I will say the Bucks Seahawks game. I don't know if you've seen this on IG, but like the uniform combo.
oh yeah, that's gonna be
That's gonna
fire.
be that'll be sick. That'll just be fun to like, aesthetically pleasing for sure.
Yeah, that's
Um,
gonna be a good. That's gonna be probably the best uniform matchup in the last I don't know how long.
since like Color Rush, peak Color Rush, probably
Probably yeah. I'd say so.
like 2018 era.
Yeah, it's been a fucking minute.
Um, all right, well that'll do it for episode 20. Appreciate y'all. If you made it to the end, we'll have we had our picks up for last week's game, so we're
Yeah,
gonna
we'll get them up
tease
for this week.
that. Yep.
I guess we. I will say I did bet on the Niners to cover the spread, and I'm assuming you did too.
I actually
Yesterday.
I had no bet
Oh
besides
really?
the halftime bet we made. People were asking me where I was gonna go with that game, and I was like, if when it felt like the Cowboys Packers game, and I reluctantly like took Packers and regretted it, and so I went into that game last night. And I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm not touching anything.
yeah, that was a good decision. It's fucking
um,
terrible.
if like I had someone ask me like, okay, if you had to bet, who would you bet? And I said Niners, but like that could have been Rams 40-0, and it could have
Yeah.
been this last night. Those were the two options. So,
Yeah.
yep. um, but yeah, we'll get our picks up. Appreciate y'all. We're out. Peace.